Welcome. So glad you're here. It really goes without saying, but I'll say it many times.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Perrin and this is my partner Greg Wagner. Together we are Team Disability. Disability is creating an adaptive fitness technology that will make gym equipment universally acceptable and safe for individuals lifting with impairments.
Lifting at the gym, when done properly, results in incredible benefits for your body and for your life. However, specifically shoulder, chest, and leg machines provide a problem for people with disabilities due to how the disability impacts somebody's body while lifting.
We want everyone to feel safe and secure when lifting, and that's why we're creating a universal clamp and harness apparatus that will maintain form for people with disabilities to prevent injury.
1988. I was a 3-year-old boy. A brain aneurysm ruptured in the deepest part of my brain, causing a permanent stroke across the right half of my body. My parents put me into physical and occupational therapy right away. I started lifting in a gym when I was only 10 years old. I just turned 32 yesterday, so it's been 20 plus years that I've been lifting in a gym. I've been a certified personal trainer since 2009, learning every aspect of strength training and the benefit that it has for a body, and it is critical for a disabled body. It is our hope, it's our mission that we will outfit all gym equipment with this universal clamp so that people with disabilities can maintain strength train, and start to reduce the effects of their limitations and disabilities.
So Greg and I met recently and bonded over our mutual love for health and fitness. When I'm not lifting in the gym, I'm usually out running competitively, including yesterday's Cherry Blossom 10 miler. So my background is in startups, and I will be serving as COO for disability. Greg, as the founder, will be handling sales and business development. Once the technology is ready for market, we will be expanding our team to include a manufacturing lead, a technical lead, and account managers. We hope to be able to fill these positions with disabled service vets when we can.
Yep. So the way that this came about was over the summer, we decided as Disability to pitch this to the top 20 biomedical engineering schools across the country as a senior capstone project. Heard back from Harvard, Johns Hopkins, but we ultimately decided to go with Case Western Reserve University because they are funding all R&D through a non-research grant and returning 100% of the IP to disability at the end of the school year. In addition, they are ensuring 100% ADA compliance on this device. This device you see here is the current prototype. The team is still enhancing it over the last month or so of the school year. And to show you how the technology works as is, we have a short video with the team.
I'm going to show you how we use our device on a standard machine that we want to focus on. So, the chest press machine. It's really simple. All you have to do is put this piece over and press on this handle, and it tightens right up. You can do that on both sides. You can get nice and tight. So what's nice now, all you have to do is sit down, turn the strap over, slide it in, tighten it up, and it's good to go for your workout. So what's important and why these are needed is because it keeps your legs securely fastened to the seat for people that may not be able to support themselves. These can also be used across the chest. And what's nice about that is it keeps you upright while you're doing your lift and allows you to keep your form so you do your lifts properly. Easily enough to take it off. All you have to do, press on this button right here. This black latch, press it down, pops right off. And as simple as that, you can move on to your next machine.
So the piece of technology that they just demonstrated to you is actually one of two pieces that we will be developing. This is this year's project. This is focused on individuals who have mobility impairments but are not confined to a wheelchair. Next year we'll be tackling those who are confined to a wheelchair, which have different regulations and considerations for lifting at the gym. Two of the students on this current team will be transferring over next year as advisors for next year's incoming team. So the reason that this technology is so important is because we're the only company in the space that are focusing on strength training for individuals with disabilities. Currently, if you are an individual with a mobility impairment, you have limited options. You can join a gym and not be able to utilize most of the equipment, or what most likely happens is you end up at a rehabilitation center, which focuses on resistance and motor skill building, but not strength. One of the things that does exist in the market, and if you see this picture behind me, Cybex, one of the major competitors in the space, has a machine that the chair will flip out and make room for a wheelchair, but this does nothing to secure them and make them safe while lifting. So they're still very sustainable to injury. So our equipment will be universally acceptable. It will be placed on all machines, chest, leg, and make everyone available to lift without impacting the use for able-bodied individuals.
So as you see, there is no security for people with disabilities while they're lifting. And in addition to this, as this idea has developed, we've done extensive customer research with over 300 people in various audiences within this space, including people with various types of disabilities who will use this equipment in different ways. Personal trainers all the way up to professional level, including Mr. John Philbin, who is well known in this area as the former head trainer of the Washington Redskins as well as the Washington Nationals. And the Case Western team themselves have been working with the local VA hospital in Cleveland. We have also developed relationships and working with Walter Reed, Fort Belvoir, DoD's Office of Disability Programs, as well as the Equal Employment Office at Fort Meade. So they are all helping us leverage relationships to work additionally with the VA and get this out to help the injured veterans. Additionally, we have buy-in from the neuro unit through Children's Miracle Network, where I had my surgery, and through MedStar Health and their rehab facilities. So this is going to help a lot of people. And in addition, we have met with both of Maryland's U.S. senators whose staff are providing additional resources to help make this a reality for people with disabilities.
So an average piece of gym equipment costs between $2,000 and $5,000, very expensive to buy and maintain. Adding this device will increase not only the value but also the user base for the owner, and will also reduce liability costs for the gym, since our equipment will be ADA certified, which most gym equipment right now is not. So here in the DC market, our #1 target audience is disabled veterans. We're currently working with Walter Reed to get this technology into the hospitals where the need is the greatest. But after we've kind of gotten into the veteran market, the next market for us is really senior citizens. We'd like to get this into rehabilitation centers and nursing homes because strength training will really help you maintain your independence and help slow down the progression of age disease.
All right, so to speak to that, to date, there are 77 million people in the United States aged 55 and older. There's also 21 million people with some form of disability, all of which will be able to get benefit in some way through having this technology outfitted to gym equipment in their local gym. Now, the research that we've done shows that there are 600,000 community gyms across the United States, and depending on the size of that facility, the gym itself would need 4 to 24 devices to comply with the 2010 update of the ADA rules.
So looking at the numbers, we've done our research and it looks like we're going to need about $500,000 to get this off the ground. The really great thing about working with Case Western is that we have no R&D costs for the first 2 years. So we're able to use our working capital for things like sales and marketing, and most importantly legal, as we will be going after a utility patent this summer for this device. So Greg and I are planning on bootstrapping this business until we're ready to hit the assembly line, which we think is going to be roughly January of 2018, and that's sort of when this P&L kicks off. This is based on an $80 cost of goods sold, $130 wholesale price, and $260 MSRP. As this is still a working prototype, costs are going to shift. They're probably going to go down significantly from this. So as we sort of learn more about the value that this brings and our customer elasticity, we may move this from a cost-based model to a value-based model. As you see, there's two revenue streams. Like I mentioned before, most people actually lease their gym equipment, so it's very important that we license this technology to major gym manufacturers so they can include this in their design. The second would be direct to consumer, so we're going to hire a sales force to go after those major accounts. The first one here in the DC market that we're going to go after is the VA and the veterans hospitals in the area.
Okay. So, in summary, we've presented multiple audiences, totals of millions of people who will benefit from disability technology. It is our hope, it's our mission to help as many people as we can improve the quality of life that they get through strength training and any type of fitness that they are able to do. What the goal with this, for me as somebody with a disability, is that everybody needs to know who lives with some form of impairment that even though you may live with a disability, it does not mean that you need to be disabled.
Thank you so much for your time. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have about us and our technology.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
You know, the one thing I took away from it is that you're only 32, which is I've been in the gym working out with a disability for 32 years, and I've never seen anything like this. So it really did hit home. I'm not sure I completely understand what the device, I mean, we can barely see it, what it actually does other than just stabilizes the individual. How does it, because I've struggled with my hand for a long time, trying to figure out how to work out in a gym, and it's, I'd have to do all kinds of different things, but I don't understand exactly.
So the device itself is focused on, so the straps can tighten and loosen, and so the
chair back.
Yeah, can you pull that back?
Sure. So based on how tight the straps are, that will leverage you against the pad. The goal is to be able to help people with disabilities. The problem that I have is that my muscles will fail. So to be able to, instead of slouch and put myself in a position where I'm prone to injury, the strap itself will bring the resistance that's needed in order to perform the lift. And that's not saying that through the ADA, also trainers are required to provide additional assistance where necessary. That's a future goal that we're working towards fixing, but that's another situation for grips and that.
Great, thanks.
Greg, congratulations on not only what you've designed, but on your personal perseverance that you've shown over many, many years to be a model for this. And I think my big question, you have to get ADA certification for it. Is that a big deal?
So ADA compliance was made law in May 2012.
Right.
So the only law, the only situation that's set in stone that gyms need to provide is an open lane for accessibility and then a 30-inch to 48-inch space that is separate from that lane, both either to the side or to the front or the rear, depending on how you need to enter the machine. So what this is specifically in ADA terms is this is an additional safety requirement. So this is to help make gym equipment more accessible. There's no addendum in the law that states that gym equipment needs to be made ADA accessible. I find that personally wrong, and hopefully this is a step to further creating seamless ADA compliance that will help everybody.
I think
earlier you mentioned that they would need to have this to comply with the 2010 ADA rules?
So
Yeah.
And if so, what are they doing right now then to comply with that
Yeah.
if they don't have this?
So, are you saying the gyms?
Yeah.
So, the backdoor rule with the gyms is if they have not made any updates to their facility since 2012, they technically don't need to do anything. But it's been stated in multiple research and medical journals, et cetera, that anywhere from 9 to 40% of facilities are truly ADA compliant. It's a big problem that's not being addressed.
Yeah. But the new gyms have had to comply. The one I go
The
to is
existing
newer.
gyms do not have to comply
No.
with their
It's a grandfathered rule.
Yeah, there's a grandfather rule. If it's something that is readily accessible for a gym to do, then they have to do it. But there's so many loopholes where gyms are finding ways not to comply.
And what was the price of this for the gym?
So wholesale 130, 260 non-wholesale, but most gyms will need between 12 and 24 to outfit all of their devices. So we will probably have very large accounts. Like I said, that was based on before we realized that this is probably going to be 3D printed. So those costs will probably shift and ultimately be lower.
They would put it on every piece of equipment? or-
Okay,
Just chest and leg.
Yeah,
But-
but they don't have that many disabled people at the gym. Wouldn't they just put it on a few of the leg presses and a few of the chest presses?
That's how many chest and leg machines that they do have. That's
So they
not
got to put it on
all.
all their chest and leg machines?
not all of them. So it's only for unique machines. So let's say that there were 4 treadmills in the gym. Only 1 treadmill would need to be outfitted.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Same thing with the machines downstairs. If the machines themselves, so like a Cybex chest press machine
Right.
is actually different than a hammer strength chest press machine. So both of them would need it. It really just depends on the size of the facility, the number of machines they have, and the need.
On the sales strategy, did you say that your direct to consumer was with a sales force?
Yes. So
That seems to be an expensive way to try to scale. Have you looked at other means to get this out?
So the major market that we're going after would be the larger accounts. So the VA, the hospitals, very, very large
Right.
accounts. We foresee the licensing to be a better way to go about it in terms of getting that onto the gym equipment before it gets to market. But in order to get it there faster, we do see that
So what you're calling
accounts.
direct to consumer is actually direct to VAs and places like that, not,
Yeah, not to
direct
the individual,
Okay.
B2B.
okay, thanks.
Yes.
So, and again, you spoke to that, so what does it prevent the Cybexes or the Hammers, or the other Nautiluses from incorporating in this in the next round of the equipment machines? Do you have a patent? Is this-
So that's what that is what this money is for. We hope to file the patent before this sort of idea becomes more public, so that they will be forced to purchase the technology from us.
And then I already have relationships at Hammer Strength Life Fitness. I've mentioned that I do have a disability product to discuss with them, but haven't gone into details yet. We'll do that once the patent is on the device.
But why wouldn't they just build their machine with,
The new machine.
with the new machines, not, you see my point?
Yeah, I mean, so it's not necessarily their target market. So they're building fitness machines for non-disabled individuals. So for them to do the research to get the ADA compliance, it's very expensive. So
Yeah.
it is a quicker way for them to install it because we've already taken all of that certification. They can just put our technology onto their devices.
And this is only the first device that we're doing as we continue to work with Case Western and other engineers on the wheelchair stabilizing device. It's not to say that this is going to improve and we're going to find a more efficient way to provide for all people with disabilities.
That was your licensing revenue line that you had, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens to the gyms if they're not complying to ADA? Is there like a financial penalty or something like that, or like?
If somebody complains, there can be lawsuits that go about, but like I said, there have been so many loopholes in terms of, gyms being able to say that, it's too much money for them to do it, or that, they haven't changed their facility since, prior to the amendment that was made in 2012, that just kind of gets lost.
Thank you.
Right.